Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Omnifactory. So last time we started work on the creative vending upgrade, and I've been playing quite a number of hours. I think I finished last time on 378 hours, which was the end of last episode, and we're now on 396. Some of those hours were spent AFK, but I have been optimizing and cleaning up some more areas, so I'm going to show you that to begin with. One of the first things I've done was set up the tier 1 Microminer for Quartzite ore. I think this is used in one of the tier 4 or 5 microminers that we need for Grains of Infinity, and I think I must have just had a backlog that I'd run out of. So I've set this up to just automatically give us Quartzite, and of course we're already crafting the tier 1 microminer, so we just have a level limiter under here just to control when this projector is enabled. I've also set up tier 7s to be automatically sent. This is also level limited, so it will keep some microminers in stock, just so that we can have enough to send manually for the dragon hearts if we run out of those. And then I also had to upgrade our wetware production as well, so I've added a few more processing arrays. I think I added one more for wetware boards, and then I put our wetware circuits in a separate processing array. Those were in the machine room before, in a single machine. So this keeps plenty of wetwares, and the wetwares of course feed into the assembly lines below, which I've also upgraded to max tier. So this meant also upgrading the stem cells as well, so I upgraded the machines in this room. But I still have to put all the facades and things on this to just finish it up. There's been a few more fluid solidifier additions as well, just for miscellaneous things that I must have run out of. A couple of changes in here as well. I managed to figure out this wall, or these two walls. And I also upgraded the crafting speed of various things. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what has changed since last time. I had to upgrade these crystal SOCs. I think these were being done at IV before, but I've upgraded them to UV. And a couple of machines have moved about, but nothing too significant. I've also changed the fusion setup room. So I added a second process to make dislocators. This is used in the warp engines, which are used in the tier 7 and 8s, and possibly the tier 9 microminer as well. Either way, it was too slow with just the one that we had over here, so I just added the second one there. Deep mob learning has also had a major improvement as well. I added another, what is this, 56 simulation chambers, something like that. Basically another 4 rows on each side, so everything below this was already here and everything above here was added just this morning. And it's mainly for Ender Dragon data models, so this side we have 4 Ender Dragon additions, and I guess 1 Enderman. And I think this side is all Enderman as well, because I was running out of Ender Pearls. They're used in quite a number of different areas, but we are slowly making our way back up on pristine Enderman matter. I think yesterday I was actually at like 100,000 of this, so it's eating through this, but we're slowly building it back up as these things level up. Ideally I would kind of like to upgrade this a bit further, but it's not going to make that much of a difference at this point. We're still eating through the dragon layer data, and that's just because I've sent up the tier 7s to auto send now, so it just consumes that passively, whereas before I was doing it manually. You might notice also the walk speed as well. That's because I managed to craft the full infinity set. Last time we finished by making this infinity breastplate, and I managed to get the rest of the set as well, which was really expensive, but needed for vending. And speaking of vending, I'll show you the current progress. I guess we can add the armor to this as well. So yeah, this is the current progress for vending. It might look like we are most of the way there, and to be honest, we kind of are, but the most expensive items, the solars, we still have to craft. I think there's still 2 creative mills to make. Yeah, those go down here. I have all 4 creative drums. I have all 4 creative tanks, obviously. I made all 4 jetpacks. 2 of the watering cans, which you only need 2. 3 flux capacitors. These are actually really expensive. So I'm missing a few of the energy cells and some more RF sources. And then the infinity ingots as well as the solars. So there's still quite a bit to... Oh, I guess the sword as well. I haven't made the sword. It's all encoded. We just don't have the resources. And I've also added these drawers here on the side just for manual use. And this is so that we can draw the items for before we get vending. Not that it really matters, since there isn't much to do after vending anyway. But if you do this and then put a vending upgrade, you can take out infinite amounts, even if you don't have any in there, as long as it's a locked drawer with the item selected. But yeah, as I mentioned, I've just been sending Microminer missions, basically trying to optimize things, upgrade processes. But there's only so I should take the armor back. There's only so much you can actually upgrade though, and some of the time I've just spent AFK. But if we just look at this, the cost for the 6 solars, we still have to make these obviously, but yeah, we still need 3,000 chaos shards for those, and that takes like multiple hours to gather at the rate we're getting them. Still 217 hearts of the... Each heart of the universe is a tier 10 as well, so that's not cheap. I think I will have to make some more optimizations just to speed this up, because I'm going to be here all year at this rate. And I kind of underestimated some of the processes and some of the amounts of materials that it requires. So I don't really know where this episode's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to get vending before I release this, but I wanted to kind of give an update before getting vending. So yeah, I'm just going to keep grinding away here, leave this running a bit longer to get some more resources, and then I'll come back when I have some updates or, yeah, some more creative items crafted. Alright, so a quick progress update here. It's now been about 16 or 17 hours since the last clip. This is our current progress, plus 1 creative RF source in use and 1 creative mill, which sits in this slot here, I think. And then, of course, the armor. So it's going pretty slow here, but this is the sort of time played. I'm at 402. I think I was at 496 last time. So the game hasn't been running the whole time. This isn't on a server either. This is a single player world. But I've been doing a bit more building as well. I cleaned up this corridor, and I added a link between the fusion setup and the interface room. I've been cleaning up all the cobblestone and markers on the floor as well in all the rooms, so it's all more or less cleaned up, I think. Hasn't been too many more changes. I added a new processing array for Energy Orb, and then I also improved the Microminers to automatically send the tier 8s as well, just to speed things up a little bit more. And then I also got this hallway finished up here next to our tree farm and fluid solidifier room. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the progress. I think there's a bit downstairs as well that I finished off. While we're waiting on all of these crafts finished, yeah, this area down here. While we're waiting on all these crafts, I think let's go back and finish up some of the quests in the quest book. So there's a few that we still have to get. We are... Obviously this tab is finished except the vending. And then there's quite a few in progression, late game. There's just 1 or 2 in each tab, so let's go through and fill all these out, I guess. Okay, first of all, the beginning quests. These machine covers, it wants specifically a wrought iron crowbar. And I think I made like a, I don't know what it was, a stainless steel crowbar? Steel crowbar, just a regular steel crowbar. But there's our quest. And the next one, the ender pump. And the first jetpack. And one left is transmission coils. And there we go. So that should be the early game tab finished off. There's the quest. Claim all. A whole 2 Omni nickels. Oh, actually, we're missing 2 more jetpacks here. I think they'll be gated in this progression, so let's just do this. We can craft everything here, I think. Oh, we have to make a drill as well. There's our drill. And there's the last quest for the progression tab. That was our Dark Solarium chestplate. Can claim all our rewards here and then move on to... Yeah, so let's finish off the early game. So we need some fluid storage, a 16k drive, and a 64k drive. We can do that. I actually have to encode the fluid storage since I never actually stored anything or any fluids in the storage disks. So this will be a first for us. So there's 16k and 64k. And now we just have to craft 1 of each. There's the 16k item storage, and we need 64k. Alright, next up, 2 capacitor banks. Easy enough. A phantom booster. I assume this is a range add-on for the phantom connectors, or the phantom faces. Never actually used one of those. Next up is a farmer. Never used one of those either, but it shouldn't be difficult to make. Next up, we also need a vertical digger, which I noticed also takes a flux bore, and this is going to take another drill core, so I may have to buy 2 more of those. I think we should have enough for it though, surely. I just ended up making 2 new drills, and there's our vertical digger. Should be a quest. Next up, it wants a basic cannon machine. I'm not actually sure why it wanted me to make this, but there it is. And then MV battery. Alright, and that's the early game all cleaned up. Let's move on to the Microverse. So we need moon turf. I guess I've never held moon turf. We should have, oh yeah, nearly 350,000. There's moon turf. We need Dew of the Void and travel anchors. Lunar miner station. There's a travel anchor. And a bucket of Dew of the Void. Also some moon dust quest. There's some teleporter quest. And the last one in the Microverse is the Rod of Return. There we go. So into the Microverse is finished. Let's do mid-game. So we have to get what? Fish oil. Don't I already have fish oil? This requires another trip to the overworld, since we need to fish some, well, fish. Actually, no, we can get fish from Guardian DML. Oops. Then we can just fluid extract them and get a bucket of this. That should be our quest. Cool. Next up is a Lapatronic Energy Orb. That's easy enough. Next up is an Experience Obelisk. And lastly it wants, well, second to last actually, it wants a Space Station Assembler. We never actually made one of these. I'm surprised you didn't actually have to make one of these, but... Oh, this is an advanced craft? Alright. And done. And lastly it wants the multi-block pieces for the warp core. We're just missing some machine structures and the holo projector. And that's our mid-game concluded. Let's finish off late game. We need 3 quests here. 1, 2, and 3. So that's mid-game, or late game, finished. We'll claim all those quests, as well as the mid-game quests. And that just leaves the end game, which is the creative vending then, I think. Oh, I guess we've got Genesis to do. There's our glider. Should have made this sooner, to be honest. I also need the crafting calculator. I also never made use of this, but from what I hear, this is pretty useful. There's a quest for it. Small batteries. A battery buffer. And finally, the obsidian furnace. And that concludes our Genesis tab. Besides this void cake one, which is never ever going to complete since it self-resets every hour. So yeah, that just leaves vending, and I don't know how long this is going to take me after this point, but I've got a whole lot of crafting to do, so I'll see you in some number of hours. Right, so it's now been a couple of extra hours. I've still been crafting up some more creative items. This is how far we've got so far. I think since the last clip, I managed to get the extra RF sources and the extra energy source, as well as the extra flux capacitor. I don't know if that was there before. But yeah, still making some more progress. I ended up changing a few things. So I added an extra 30 or 40 dragon sims here. I just basically slotted them in here. Before this was just black concrete, but I've slotted in a couple of extra rows of simulation chambers. For dragon mostly. And then I added this extra row of loot fabs for dragon layer data. And this ratio isn't perfect, so I have too many loot fabs for the amount of simulations that I have, but there's a sizable backlog in the Ender Dragon Pristines, which is actually draining pretty quick at this point, but I could probably turn this off, to be honest. That all results in much faster Microminer production, which gives, obviously trickles down and then gives more Chaos Shards and then more Hearts of the Universe. So there's still quite a bit to go, and I think I've decided that I'm just going to make this a bit of a shorter episode here. I'm going to finish up all the building, and I'm actually working already on a mod pack review / base tour. So I've started working on that video, and I want this to be a separate one. And I think to begin that video, I'll start with vending. I don't know how long that'll take me, probably a few days. Again, keep your suggestions coming for the next pack that I should play. That's probably going to start in about a week's time. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to leave it for today. Sorry about this shorter episode. I just wanted to separate this out from the mod pack review. But anyways guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you some point next week for the final episode of Omnifactory.